By default, the videos that the DJI Neo shoots are pretty bad, definitely not cinematic or professional, but I've discovered one simple trick that makes the footage look 10 times better. Now, this is actually something you do in post-processing, in editing, but you can do it entirely with free software, and I'm going to walk you through how to do it step by step. But before we get into the step-by-step instructions, I need to do a little bit of explaining. One of the biggest things that makes the videos from the Neo look cheap and unprofessional is that they are extremely over-sharpened. A lot of cheap cameras add a ton of sharpening to the footage, which makes them look overly crunchy, whereas high-end cameras go much lighter on the sharpening and leave the footage looking a lot more natural and cinematic. Now, if you're flying it with a dedicated remote or with the FPV goggles and remote, you can turn down the sharpening, which I 100% recommend doing. But if you're just having the Neo automatically track you or flying it from your phone, which is where the Neo really shines, you can't adjust the sharpening and you're stuck with that over sharpened look. So I'm going to show you how to fix that in post, as well as fix some of the other problems with the DJI Neo footage. So to fix this, we'll use a program called Vinci Resolve, and you can download that for free. There's a free version and a paid version. The free version has 95% of all the tools. It's a fully capable pro video editing software, and everything we'll need to fix the Neo footage is available in the free version. So if you don't already have the software, you'll just Google Vinci Resolve, go to Blackmagic's website, and then scroll all the way down to the bottom. Click on the free version, free download now, choose your operating system, fill in this information, and click download. And once you've downloaded and installed Vinci Resolve, you'll just open it up and you will be greeted with a splash screen where you can create a new project. We'll just call this one Fixing DJI Neo, and click on create. And so once you have your project created, you can just take and grab your Neo footage and drag it over into this area that's called the media pool, and your clips will show up right here, and then it will open them up in this viewer here. You can trim them to just the part that you want to edit, and then you can go ahead and drag them down onto the timeline, which is where we edit. In my Flying Filmmaker course, I have entire tutorials showing exactly how to edit from start to finish in Vinci Resolve, but for now, all you need to know is that we have this footage here on the timeline, and to make our adjustments, we're going to jump over into what's called the color page in Vinci Resolve. Down here at the bottom, there's several different pages or interfaces that you can choose from. We're going to switch to the color page, and here we have all of the different tools that we can use to make our footage look better. Now, there's a lot going on here. Again, in this video, I don't have time to go through every single thing. That's all covered in my course, but just very quickly, down here we have our main color contrast brightness adjustments. Over here we have our curves. Here we can watch our footage, and up here we have our nodes. Sometimes people get really scared by nodes, but it's actually really simple. They're basically just like color grading adjustment layers. So I can add multiple layers of adjustment. So for example, I can brighten the footage on this node, then I can add another node, and then I can do something else to the footage afterwards. You can just layer and stack your adjustments very easily with nodes. So if we look at a couple of clips here from the Neo, you can see that they have this kind of overly sharpened, over crunchy look to them. And so to fix that, what we'll do is we'll just come down here to this slider that's called Mid Details. And this is basically a tool that lets you soften the shot without making things look blurry. So to adjust it, we'll just click on it. If we drag it up, you'll see it makes everything look even more crunchy and not great. So instead, we'll drag it down to the left. It depends on the shot how far you'll want to drag this. For this shot, we can turn it all the way down to -100. And if we turn that off and back on, you can see we've just sort of softened things out, made them look a little bit more soft and cinematic. And on this clip here, again, we have the same overly crunchy, over sharpened look. We can again come down to our mid details. This time, if we turn it down to -100, that might be a bit too much. So we'll just go down to about, let's say, -50. Again, if we turn it off and back on, it's just softened things out, made it look a little bit more natural. But now our colors on some of these clips still aren't great. So to fix that, we can use what's called a LUT, that stands for Look Up Table. It's basically a color grading preset that you can drop onto your footage, and it will color grade it in one click. And to access our LUTs, we'll just want to open open up the LUTs panel over here on the left side of the screen in DaVinci Resolve, and here I have my full Flying Filmmaker LUT pack. Link to where you can get that is down in the description, and we'll use one of these LUTs. I think we'll use the Cinematic Warmth LUT. So to add that to the footage, we'll just add another node or color grading adjustment layer, and to do that, we'll just right click on our first node and go to add node, click on add serial, or you can just hit Option S or Alt S on your keyboard to do it even faster. And then we'll just drag our LUT over here onto the footage, and if we turn that off and back on, you can see it's just made the colors a little bit more nice and cinematic. And this is one of the LUTs from my paid LUT pack, but I'm actually giving it away for free. There'll be a link in the description where you can go and download it for free. Try it out, see how you like it, and if you like it and want more LUTs like that, you can buy the full LUT pack. So this shot here, if we look at what we started with and what we ended up with, as you can see, it looks a lot less cheap and amateurish and a lot more nice and smooth and cinematic. And here on this a bit more middle of the day sunny shot, again, we can add a little bit of cinematic colors. We can add a couple LUTs here. I'm going to again add the Cinematic Warmth LUT, but this time it is a little bit too strong of an effect for my taste. So to turn down how strongly the LUT is applied, we'll just go over here to the key panel and turn down our key output for this node. This is basically how strongly whatever adjustments are on that node are applied, which will basically reduce the strength of the LUT. So I'm going to turn it down somewhere here to about 0.6, 60%. And if we turn that off and back on, you can see we've just added a little bit more nice cinematic colors to it and just made the whole shot look a tiny bit better. And here's another example of a shot straight out of the Neo that looks just a little bit over sharpened, overly contrasty, just doesn't look super great. And we have this part right here in the middle where the tracking gets a little bit confused and it sort of jumps over to the side in a not super smooth look. And this is something that tends to happen with the Neo. Sometimes its movement isn't perfectly smooth, but we can smooth this out by using the stabilization feature in DaVinci Resolve. So to access that, we'll just open up our inspector panel by clicking up here in the upper right hand corner, and then just scroll down to stabilization, click on it, and first of all we'll change the mode from perspective to translation. Many times perspective mode can cause some weird warping stuff in the corners, so translation is often a better way to go. And then I'll just turn up the smoothing a little bit to right about 0.4, and then click stabilize. It will do its analysis, and as you can see, it's punched in on the clip just a little bit, but if we play back through it, you can see it has smoothed out the motion quite a bit to where it looks a lot more smooth and natural. And then again, to fix our over sharpening and make the colors look better, we'll come over here into the color page, and we're going to again come down here to our mid-tone details, and we are going to turn that down. Again, we'll go to right about here, -70. And then I'm again going to add a new node and add a LUT to it. And again, if we turn all of our adjustments off and back on, you can see we've gone from a lot less good looking shot to a much more cinematic looking shot. So for our last example here, we have a shot that really looks pretty bad and highlights another weakness of the Neo, which is that these highlights are totally blown out here in the background, even here on the ground where the sun is shining, and definitely on me as I run through the sun. And this is just because the Neo does not have very good dynamic range. It doesn't do a very good job of capturing both dark darks and bright brights at the same time. And there's not really a whole lot we can do to actually bring the detail in the highlights back because it is just simply gone, but we can make it look a lot less bad and harsh by kind of blending the highlights into the rest of the shot. So to make this shot look better, again, first of all, we're going to fix our over sharpening. Again, we're going to come to mid-tone details, turn this all the way down to -90 something. That just kind of softens things out and even softens out the edges of the highlights a little bit. But next we are going to come over here to our curves tool. Now this is a little bit more advanced, something we have not used yet, but it's actually pretty simple. Up here on the top end of our line, these are the highlights. You either pull them up to brighten or down to darken. Down here on the bottom end are our shadows, again down to darken, up to brighten. In the middle are our midtones, same thing. So to kind of mute our highlights and make them look a little bit less bad, what we're going to do is we're just going to add a couple points right about here, and then we're going to drag the top point of our curves tool and just bring it down. We don't want to bring it down too far or it will start looking really weird, but we'll just bring it down, let's say to right about here. We're just going to tweak these other points a little bit, figure out where it looks the best. And if we turn this node off and back on, you can see that we've just kind of muted these highlight areas, made them have a little bit less harsh edges, but the shot still doesn't look all that great. So we're going to again add another node, and we are going to again apply our cinematic warmth LUT. That just gives the footage a little bit of extra pop and also kind of blends our highlights in just a little bit more, makes them look a bit more natural. And then finally, I'm going to add one more LUT again on another node. This one actually isn't from my LUT pack, but I think for this shot, it's going to give a good look. And I'd say that looks pretty good. The effect's maybe a little bit strong, so we'll turn this down in our key panel to about 70-ish%. And now if we turn all of our effects off and back on, you can see it's taken it from looking like a very cheap video to a much more smooth cinematic look that just all in all looks a lot better and a lot less like it was shot on a cheap little $200 drone. So that is how to make your DJI Neo footage look 10 times better with a little post-processing and editing trickery. If you want to learn more about how to make any drone look cinematic, I have a completely free 45-minute drone filmmaking training where I share my top 10 secrets to getting cinematic drone shots. Again, completely free, link to that is down in the description. And I also have an entire 12-hour drone filmmaking course where I cover every step of my process to create cinematic professional drone videos. Again, links to everything will be down in the description. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe for more videos like this, and we'll see you in the next one.